Now, Zambia heads to the polls on the 13th of August 2026 for general elections that will decide the country's next president, parliament and local government leaders. Once widely expected to be a low contest for the incumbent President Hakainde Hichilema, the race has tightened as a unified opposition rallies behind Brian Mundubile. The contest has heated up further with worries about political violence mounting in a country known to hold peaceful elections following a recent attack on the opposition by ruling party supporters. Now, President Hichilema has condemned the violence. Key voter concerns include the cost of living and unemployment. Now, while Zambia has achieved some macroeconomic stabilization and debt restructuring since its last election, many households continue to struggle to make ends meet. President Hichilema of the Unified Party for National Development is seeking a second term. The BBC's Ndingi Daba, Jonah Buyoya, sat down with President Hichilema and asked him why he's seeking a re-election.
We sought leadership from the people of Zambia when we were in opposition, and we made commitments. We declared our vision clearly and our manifesto and commitments to the people of Zambia. And I think by and large, we've delivered on a greater majority of those commitments, save maybe where we were disturbed by exogenous variables, factors that are beyond our control, such as drought and what else, the war. But otherwise, we have delivered. And I'm happy to go into one or two or so specifics, if that's okay.
And I'd like for us to get into that, because one of the major issues that people talk about in this election is the cost of living. They say that your government says you've reduced inflation, which metrics are there to see.
Yes.
But they also argue that the cost of living has almost doubled from what it was when you came into office. How do you measure these metrics and argue that you've done well?
The starting point is that what country did we inherit? We inherited a broken down country, completely broken down. We were in debt, distress, defaulted on our obligations to pay our debts. The economy was declining. Jonah, how do we know? Minus 2.8% GDP growth. That's how we know. We said we'll restructure the debt, Jonah, and we've delivered on that. A clear saving of $1.9 billion per year. And that's the money we're putting in the economy, creating a headroom and driving that headroom away from consumption expenditure of the past into investment expenditure.
Some of the key indicators for a country that has high poverty levels like that is people need to be able to afford the staple food, for example. And some of the commitments you made with regards to that were to reduce the cost of the corn meal, or milling meal as we call it here. That has not happened, and they're asking,
no, Jonah, that's not true.
Why should you be re-elected?
That is not true,
when these parts of their daily lives are expensive?
We have, despite the worst drought in living memory, 2 years ago, we've been able to increase production of maize to the highest level since independence. What is that level? 5 million tons of maize this year. Never done before independence. Since independence. What is the impact of that, John? Supply side increases. Then, as a consequence of that, the price of milling meal is coming down. That's why I was saying that's not true. It's coming down.
But it hasn't gone below the level it was when you assumed office, Mr. President.
This is not how you measure economics. This is what is called nominal figures. You must be talking about real terms. Real terms brings context in terms of the general price level over a period of time, and the true value of that price in today's currency.
Before maybe 6 weeks ago, a lot of people pitted that this was going to be a one-horse race, and you were assured of a victory as easy as a snap of a finger. But the tide seems to be a bit different. There seems to be another person contending this election against you that's challenging for the presidency. Why do you think this is happening? Is this an indication of dissatisfaction from your Zambian people?
One can say so. We don't believe that's the issue. We are proud to have competition in the election, Jonah. Democracy is important. Elections are important. After all, elections are the ultimate in a democratic period. 5 years in our case. We're happy to have competition. That's the way it should be.
They are a large population of our country.
Indeed.
Young people and women.
Indeed.
So what specific things are you telling these young people you will do for them if you are elected this coming election?
45,000 teachers we've employed are youth. 20,000 medical staff we've employed are youth. Those we've employed in the public sector, other public sector areas such as the army, and the youth.
But they still have a high unemployment rate, Mr. President.
Agreed. You look at the jobs we've created in 4 years, 10 months. Call it. We are saying to them, when the economy bottoms up, which is what it's doing now, it creates opportunities for the youth who are not yet employed to be the next ones in the queue.